4,
Start here.
Fox
In
13.
in another minute, we're waiting for our Sinclair sister station.
TV is outside.
Did you get it? You didn't get that, did you?
I did. I did.
Okay, fine. She didn't get it. Sinclair's trying to take over. So who knows what that means for us? I don't know.
I've been riding that for 11 weeks.
See what happens.
I would say if we weren't all sure, we could be packing up like we're done. Freak them out.
I mean, it's not too late.
Oh my.
No, it's too late. We're all set up, yeah.
Perfect timing. Just made it. Guess we'll just take the middle. Yes.
That's my best side anyways.
It shows the glory of the mustache.
The full mustache, full frontal.
Not this one? Yeah, of course.
So Amy,
How
how
are
often do
you
you
today?
commute up this way? It's Saturday to Monday, kind of. Do you have a place? They put you up somewhere?
Which pocket do you not have?
It's not going to work.
Is it all right if the microphones are touching each other? You guys don't get
As
feedback?
long as they're not the same frequency.
Yeah.
That's on you guys, not me.
That's on us, right.
You saw my face. I'm like,
In the old days, we could put one microphone on, because we all had one company, we could just share the frequency, but now there's so many different companies.
We probably could still share frequency.
Get a splitter, we could do it. All hardline.
does he need to test the microphones? Any of your guys' microphones?
Mine's good.
Yeah.
Everybody good? Well, where, throw it up there. There you go.
Hold on now.
They'll probably start, not yet, soon.
Chief, will you do something where you make a statement first and then questions, something like that? Or how do
Yeah, I can make a statement.
you want to do something, is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, you good?
Yeah, good here. You bet.
You guys good? Everybody good? Okay.
Everybody good?
We're good, Chief, thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you. Jeremy Kraft, Lehi Fire Chief. I'm here to update you on the apartment fire that we had last Sunday. We, shortly after that fire began and we started looking at it, we quickly realized that this was too big of a fire for Lehi Fire to investigate by ourselves. So we called our partners in at the State Fire Marshal's office. Really like to thank them. They came down and together we conferred, and ultimately we brought in the ATF National Response Team to help us do the investigation on that fire. As you're probably aware, it took us a couple days to get some cranes down. There were some safety issues, so we couldn't get on the pile right away. Once we did, we had the arson dog come in, and we had probably about 30 people up there helping us dig the scene. We are now done with our work up there, and we hope to turn that building back over to the building owner very soon. I will tell you that at this time, it's an undetermined fire is how we are going to classify it. We know the point of origin, meaning we know where the fire started, but we don't know how the fire started. Now, our investigation isn't completely done. We still have some leads that we need to follow up on. We're trying to get some camera footage and some things like that. This was obviously a devastating fire for the community and for the company up there. So yeah, our work will continue, but at this time we really just don't know exactly what caused it. I would take any questions.
Chief, you said you know where it started in the building?
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, we got some early video camera footage from the homes on the east side that showed where the smoke started, which really led us to look in those areas. Once we got in those areas of the building, we were able to go back and look through some previous photos that showed fire load, and that's what we're looking for, right? And so we can pretty much determine that that's where it was based on footage from, different angles of cameras from the community.
At what point do you determine that the fire is too large for just your department to take on?
Quite honestly, for Lehi Fire Department, we're a smaller department, but anything bigger than a house, generally speaking, we'll ask for some help from the state fire marshal or even just neighboring departments, have their fire marshals come in. It's really manpower intensive to dig through all the ashes and move them and look. So generally about then. Quite honestly, I rely on my fire marshal to say, hey, I need some help.
Got it. And when you say manpower intensive, do you happen to know how many people you had working to try to figure out what happened here?
Yeah, so I think the ATF National Response brought about 25 people. We also had about 5 people from the Utah ATF. And then we had some police investigators helping us, 3 or 4. My fire marshal's division, so 2. So what is that, 30 to 35 people total working on this fire for the last week?
Chief, this is, you said a big, there were a lot of explosions, there was a large fire, it seemed to really blow up. Is there any reason to believe there was arson or there was any intentional nature behind the start of this?
That's a tricky question. We haven't ruled arson out, but we haven't proven arson. Inversely, we haven't ruled out that there was a temporary electrical box or something in there that went bad. We haven't ruled that out, and we haven't proven that either. So both options are still on the table. Some of those things are just going to need to be looked at a lot more closely.
What still needs to be done to determine or to get closer to a determination?
We have some footage that we still need to look at, and then, so they're called the spider box. They're used a lot in construction. There were some spider boxes in there. We were able to find them. They're going to need to be looked at closer by electrical engineers and those types of things. Along with the wires that connected them, they're on a construction site. So they could have been beat up and causing heat or something like that. And quite honestly, that's way above my knowledge of fire investigation. There are some experts that will look at that and help us figure out if they believe that may or may not have been a cause.
Chief, you said there was an arson dog. Can you say, did the arson dog key on anything?
The arson dog did not key on anything. So, and mostly what they would look for would be a flammable liquid.
Aside from the size of this fire and obviously that it was a large construction project, was there anything that made it difficult for the crews to get in there and try to do this work?
Well, water's always a concern, right? Because you can only flow so much water through the pipes underground. And this was a large fire, but getting close to it, because it was super hot, made it challenging. But really just the water. We had great access. I mean, it wasn't in a heavy populated area. It's standing out there by itself. But I just keep going back to water, right? For us, it's what we call the battle of the BTUs, right? The fire's putting out BTUs, and we got to put enough water on it to absorb those and some to knock the fire down. And we were just having a challenge getting that much water on it.
What does BTU mean?
British Thermal Unit. So it's a measure of heat. Sorry.
Chief, with today's event, what
Yes.
were you hoping to convey to the public, or where we stand with this investigation?
Just, first of all, I wanted to thank the State Fire Marshal's Office, the ATF, and, Lehi PD, everybody that helped us with this. For the public, I just know that we're working on it, even though it's at an undetermined cause right now. It doesn't mean that we're done. We obviously want to figure these types of things out. So we're going to continue working. And if you have video footage or camera footage, or you know of anything, please reach out to Lehi PD and get us that information.
Do you know if the developers were using correct materials that were, would qualify as proper fire retardant, or if potentially there was something wrong with the materials of the build?
So I don't know of anything that was wrong with the material. One of the problems is when you talk about the proper materials for fire break, that's what was going in next to building 1 where we believe the fire was starting. So it had just received a 4-way inspection, meaning it had been framed, there was electrical, heating, heating and plumbing done, right? So then the sheetrock goes on, and the sheetrock and the doors and stuff like that are really what prevent the spread of fire, and none of that had been put in yet.
So aside, I know we don't know whether it's arson and what exactly it could have been. Is there anything to suggest negligence on the part of the developer?
We've not seen anything. No.
Any injuries to the crew at all? while they
We
were-
did not have any injuries to firefighters. Nope. This was one of those fires that looks like it's a lot of fun, but it's really sitting on a hose line or sitting on top of a ladder and just spraying a lot of water. So
Total loss for the developer owner?
I believe so, yeah. And we're still, the other question I think is coming is how much? We don't know. And let me explain why we don't know. Because it was at various stages of construction, we have to go through and sit down with them and figure all that out. And then there were a lot of what we would call exposures, so some contractors' trailers that had tools in them that melted, and so it's going to take us a while before we figure out exactly the cost.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to the public? Seems like we've been seeing some big fires this year, not just around the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging, right? It does feel like there's been a lot of big fires. What I would say to the public is we're doing the best we can to figure out what's causing these. If there is a connection, hopefully we can figure that out. We don't believe there is at this time. Just bad luck, I guess. But fire department's always here, and you call 911. We'll bring everything we have, and we'll help mitigate your situation.
One last question.
Yes,
Sorry.
ma'am.
What was the response time for your department to get there?
Oh, good. That's a really great question. I have all of that data, but I have not sat down and been able to go through that. I can tell you the alarm time was 10:17, but I don't have an on-scene time for the first unit yet. That's a good question.
Thank you.
You stumped me.
We still might be streaming.
Thank you.
No, you're good. Before we
Yeah.
say